Hi, everybody. Let's see, do we have video? Can you hear me? Wave if you can hear me. Can everybody hear me that's here?
We can hear you.
Good. Okay, so we have 10 people here so far. Let's see. All right, we have Beth, guest, Carrie, Christina, Dan, Elaine. Hi, how are you all? All right. Let's see some more. Let's see. Felix, Hang, Huron, PSC, Gao, Naomi. All right, so today we're going to start at 11. Looks like we have a couple of minutes to go. Let's see here, about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to try to move it along at a good pace because I'm capped at a certain amount of time that I can record and then post onto Blackboard for those that don't come to the meetings. So I have to move along at a little bit of a pace. Okay, it would almost be like if we had a 1 hour class and I had to go over 2 chapters. So you can't just sit and, talk about weekend sports. How did the Yankees do anything? You got to get down to business. So right at 11 o'clock, we have 3 chapters to go. They're really interesting chapters, 13, 14, and 15. And we're going to get into the world of marketing, channels of distribution, how merchandise moves through the channel of distribution, and pricing. So they're very, very interesting chapters. And I think you'll learn a lot today. And the good news is we're moving along at a really, really good pace. After today, I'm going to take out my master notebook. After today, we only have 2 more lectures. We have a lecture on July 1st, and we have a lecture on July 6th. And then we have your final exam, which is not a lecture. There's no Zoom meeting. But even though I stay online to monitor the exam, there's no Zoom meeting. So really, you're going to have today's meeting, the meeting on July 1st, and a meeting on July 6th, and then the semester's over. You take the you take the exam. You have to take the exam on July 8th, of course. Don't forget July 8th. All right. So really, you have 4. You have today and 3 more meetings. Yeah, two lectures and 1 test. 2 and 1. Okay. That's the way it works, okay? 2 and 1, all right? So today, again, we're going to, let's see, I'm going to start now. Let's see what time it is. I don't have I've got actually a couple of minutes to go. I don't want to start before 11 because people criticize me. Well, I came on with 11, Professor, and, where were you, right? It's a beautiful sunny day. I hope after today's class ends, you can go out and get some nice vitamin D. I get my vitamin D from Johnny Walker Black Label, but a lot of people get their vitamin D from Sunshine. A couple of people are cringing. I see a couple of people are cringing at me. Shame, shame, but you got to get your vitamin D wherever you can get it, all right? So that's it over here, all right? So here we go. So let's see if I can, is it close to... Actually got a couple of minutes to go. All right. Well, we got 2 minutes to go. I'm going to start 2 minutes early. We already have 23. The irony is if this was a regular class and we were in the classroom now and many of you were sitting in your chairs, you'd have about 25 or 30 students sitting in the chairs. And guess what? As the class began, believe me, I'm teaching for, this will be my 21st year teaching. More kids come late for class than do on time. It's one of the ironies, something like that. So you'd have people filtering in and things like that. So I'm going to start. Let's see. I'm just going to press this thing over here. I'm going to see if I can get started, right? Okay. So I'm going to watch my the clock because I'm going to try to keep it on time. All right. So here we are. Well, we have about 25 people with us. So I'm going to start sharing now. And here is the first chapter. Well, to go on to the master site, let me just go on to the master site first. Can you see the master site?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here is a little message I gave to everybody telling you about today's, well, actually, let me go over here. So this is today, okay? You go down, and this is where we are today. We've gone all the way past quiz 2. and we're over here. So here is a little message I gave to everybody, a little video. I thank you for watching it. And now here's today's 3 PowerPoint chapters, okay? And then I also gave you some really interesting videos to look at on your own. I'm not going to play the videos online. We don't have the class time. So let's go to chapter, whoop, that's 14. Let's see. Today, actually, I'm going to do 13. Let's see here. All right, so let me do, can you see 13?
No.
You can't see it. All right, let's see. What am I doing wrong here? Let's see, 14.
I think you have to start a new share.
I think I have to do, let's see, let's see what I'm doing wrong. Let's see here. Is this 13? Can everyone see it now?
Yes.
You can see it? Okay,
Yes.
great. So here, chapter 13, we'll talk about marketers. And by the way, this course is administered by the marketing department. The marketing department in Baruch administers this class. So that's, let me put this over here. That's the way it is. Let me just see if I move this thing over here. Let's 1 second. Got a little frozen control here. It's not working too well. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I'll move myself over a little bit. I don't want to take up all the space. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here is marketing department, help marketers buy. So we'll talk about here the key terms. So actually marketing defined is the activity, set of institutions, a process for creating, communicating, and delivering value. All right. What do I mean by that? To simply stated, a person wants to buy an item and marketers deliver the item to the company. Apple makes smartphones, okay? So I go into Best Buy or I go into an Apple store and I want to get a phone and I talk to the agent behind the counter and they explain to me the features of the new phone. I go ahead and I decide to buy. I give them my credit card and they give me the phone, all right? So that's the idea. So it's an exchange. It's an exchange, okay? So the concept, a new era marketing, it used to be, years ago, it was a manufacturing concept. Everything was geared toward making millions and millions of units. You had these giant factories, and then it evolved into the selling concept, where a lot of the focus in marketing was on selling. We tried to have this, they tried to train salespeople and teach them how to push the product into people. And now we're in the marketing concept. This is the new 21st century thinking, where you look for the customer. What's important to the customer? What's important to me? Easy care, affordability. It could be prestige. That's why you have a store like you have a store like TJ Maxx or Kohl's, and you also have a store like Saks Fifth Avenue. They sell it at different levels of thing like that. Okay, prestige. Okay, so you find out it could be easy care, affordable, free delivery. Free delivery is very, very big today. With a lot of this coronavirus thing, people want stuff delivered to their home. You're seeing Uber Eats, and you're seeing so many of these companies. Amazon is really doing very well. I found a company recently online called Boxed, B-O-X-E-D. You can get all kinds of toilet tissue, you get all kinds of napkins, things like that sent to you. So free delivery, all right? So customer relationship management, CRM, is identifying the touch points of your customer. How does your customer really interact with you, okay? Do they come into your store? Do they shop online? Something like that. How do they really work? So we try to track our customer and we try to identify touch points, all right? How does our customer shop with us, okay? And then we try to quantify this. So maybe our best customers shop, many studies have been done with retail stores. The best customer is actually a customer that shops online and also shops in the store, okay? Goes into the online and into the store, right? Let's see if I can just see up here. Okay. So they shop online and in the store. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. The evolution of marketing, how it moves. Basically, now the consumers want to interact anywhere and anytime. That's why you have people shop with their phone. People shop online. Some people still go to the store, thing like that. Consumers expect personalized services, all right? Free delivery, monogramming, all the different things. And consumers expect interactions to be easy. It's called user-friendly. You've all heard the expression user-friendly website. So we like to see user-friendly websites, okay? Things like that, right? Now here's an amazing fact. The cost of acquiring a new customer is about 5 times more expensive than retaining your current customer. Let me see if for some reason or another all right, that doesn't matter, okay? So that's the amazing fact. So the idea over here is marketers try to really build relationships with their customers, and they really want to make it almost like a part of the family. So they really reach out to you. They have loyalty reward cards. They have many, many benefits for being a loyal customer. Customer loyalty is one of the key things at all marketing, all right? So here's some nonprofit organization. By the way, the thing with nonprofit organizations is they try to fundraise. So Channel 13 is a nonprofit, PBS is a nonprofit, American Cancer Society, Susan B. Komen, many of the different ways that they raise money, something like that. And they take this money they raise and they try to find a cure for cancer, muscular dystrophy. So many of these March of Dimes, so many of these nonprofits. So a lot of times a person will study marketing in Baruch or a fine college like that, and then they'll turn around with their education and they'll go to work for the American Cancer Society or thing like that, Muscular Dystrophy United Way. So these are sort of, so here's the marketing mix. And by the way, it's called the 4 Ps, all right? For some reason or not, I can't see my own image over here. I'm just trying to figure out my own image. So let's see what happened. Let's see. I don't know what happened with my own image. Let's see here. Because sometimes I look like to look. Can you guys see me? You can see me holding up the 4 fingers? You can see me? Okay.
Yeah, we can see you. All
right, so the 4 Ps, the first P, far and away, is the most important, is the product. You have to have a good product. Here's an iPhone, an Apple iPhone, so certainly it's very, very important you have a good product, okay? The second thing is the price. How do you price it, all right? Think of Netflix. When Netflix first came on the scene, they came in at a very, very low price, right? They tried to capture market share, and they did a very good job. As a matter of fact, they did such a good job, they put Blockbuster out of business. Blockbuster's gone, and now Netflix is soaring, and people have it in there, and they're doing tens of millions of customers, and their stock price is $300-400 a share, right? Place. How do you actually sell the merchandise? Do you have a physical store? I told you Walmart has 12,000 stores, but they also have Walmart.com, and Walmart.com is growing very, very well, okay? They're moving along very well. And promotion, all the elements of promotion. We're going to talk about that the next chapter, all right? So here you see them depicted, the marketing mix, the product. This is for like cosmetics. The price, how do they charge it? The place here, for instance, a person wants to get a haircut or a beauty parlor, have to go in a beauty parlor. And then the promotion is all the ads you see. That's the 4 Ps, all right? The 4 Ps, all right? So here's designing a product to meet customers' needs or defining the product as any physical. It can be a good or a service. Just think, I'll give you an example. Say like I want to go and buy a car. I go into a Toyota dealership. I sit down with the salesperson, and I wind up, after a negotiation, I buy a Toyota Camry. So I'm driving the car, right? Say like I live in Manhattan, and I don't want to own a car, but I want to go away for the weekend. I want to go up, and I want to drive up to the Appalachian Mountains for the weekend. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and rent a car. So I go to Enterprise Rent a Car. I rent a car on Friday afternoon. I drive it all the way up, and I have a great time up in the mountains. I come back a Sunday night, and I turn the car in. So that was a service. So that Toyota, the car actually was a product that was also a service, all right? So, okay, test marketing is testing products among potential users. So say like I'm Nabisco, and I want to come out with a new cookie, all right? I want to come out with a new cookie. And the idea of this cookie is I want to see how many, I want to do taste tests with the cookie. What's the cookie going to taste like, all right? The idea over here, so I have a focus group, people come in. We have all different, so like I'm coming out with a chocolate chip marshmallow cookie. We're going to take little pieces of marshmallow, and we're going to put it with chocolate chip. We're going to have it's called a chocolate mallow cookie or something like that. And we're going to taste test it. We're going to determine the exact best taste. We're going to have panelists come in. And then after we perfect it, we're going to market, all right? That's test marketing, right? And a brand name is a word, letter, a group of words that differentiates one seller from another. So Levi Jeans is a brand name. Wrangler Jeans is a brand name. Ralph Lauren Clothing, you have Calvin Klein. These are different, think in the fashion industry, a thing like that. A brand name, something like that. Think of Toyota. So you can't come out with a car and call it a Toyota Camry. That name is taken. You can come up with any other name, but you can't use Toyota Camry. That's a name taken, something like that. Ralph Lauren Jeans, something like that. You can't start a jeans company and call it Levi. That name is taken, right? You'll get sued, okay? Right? So here is setting an appropriate price. Pricing products depends on many factors. What are your competitors' prices? A lot of times you're in a war. Just think of the war between AT&T, Verizon, and now Sprint Mobile. Remember we learned the term merger? Remember we learned merger in the earlier chapter? So you have AT&T competes with Verizon Wireless, and they compete with Sprint T-Mobile, and the pricing. So they want to try to get users to join their service, thing like that. So they have pricing plans, thing like that. How much, what does it cost of your product, all right? What does it cost Ralph Lauren to make a pair of jeans, all right? It costs maybe $15, and then they have to make profit, so they double it to $30. They sell it to Macy's for $30. Macy's sells it for $60 or $90 or $120, right? What's it cost us to distribute the product? How do we move it around from point A to point B? And finally, what is the promotion? How much are we going to spend on advertising, sales promotion, personal selling, all these things, right? So here is a promotion mix. By the way, the definition of promotion is all the techniques sellers use to inform about their products. So some companies do a tremendous amount of advertising. McDonald's, you see McDonald's ads. You see it on radio, television. You see it in many other different media, thing like that. Coupons, thing like that. They have Ronald McDonald. You have Golden Arches, thing like that. And a company like Starbucks does almost no advertising at all. I'll tell you another company, multi-billion-dollar company, does zero advertising. Costco, right? Costco has members, and they give deals to the members, but you'll never see a Costco ad, something like that. Once in a while, you may see something. They encourage you to be a member or something like that, but very little Costco ad. Compare that to Macy's or any of these other stores that every time I open up my eyes, I see another Macy's ad. So here's a promotion mix. These are the tools that every company has at their disposal. First, advertising, personal selling. We're going to talk about each one in the next chapter, by the way. Public relations. By the way, if you're a marketing major, you'll actually take a course. In Baruch, you take an advertising course. It's called advertising communication mix, right? Public relations is a course, not necessarily. I'm not 100% sure if we have it in Baruch, but a lot of companies have it as an actual course. Publicity, that would be part of public relations. Word of mouth, and then also sales promotion. Sales promotion is a course that if you're a marketing major, I'm not thinking Baruch, but certainly you can take it as a regular 15-week course. So each one of these elements can be a 15-week course, right? So what is marketing research? We want to determine what's important to our customers. So it's the analysis of markets to determine opportunities and challenges, right? Who is our customer? Who should be our customer, right? What's important to our customer? So what's important? Free delivery, low prices. That's how a company like Walmart, the largest company in the world sales-wise, is Walmart, and there's a reason for that. Their slogan is 4 words: save money, live better. Save money, live better. So they really scratch the itch of people looking to save money. And by the way, not only poor people shop in Walmart. A lot of times, go to a Walmart parking lot sometimes, in one of these big parking lots with 500 cars, you'll see a lot of Mercedes, you'll see Land Rovers, you'll see BMWs, you'll see all the Jaguars, things like that. Because a lot of times people that have money, wealthy people, like to save money. They're thrifty, right? So they shop in Walmart, right? So here's a marketing research process. It's a 4-step process. First, define the problem or opportunity. What are we looking for, right? What are we looking for? Collect research data. Analyze the data. You study the data. You have all kinds of tests, things like that. You study it. You create a hypothesis. You try to disprove, things like that. And then you choose the best solution. So we think we should do A, B, or C. It turns out A was just lukewarm. B was a solid decision. And C with negatives, then we go with B. That's the way it goes, right? So here's a marketing research process. You have 2 types of data: primary and secondary. Let me talk about secondary data first. Secondary data is data that already exists. See the word there? It's already been compiled, all right? Census reports. These are reports that, things like that. Many, tons of data out there. You go on Google, you go on Yahoo, you go on Bing, and you navigate around, you can find out tremendous. Remember early on in chapter 1 and chapter 2, I told you to go on and look at the world population clock. It was a tremendous amount of data besides the debt clock. Remember the total debt clock? I had to go on there. The tremendous amount of data. If you look on the bottom links, at the end of this lecture, if you want to go back to look on chapter 1 and chapter 2, I have the link there, the world's debt clock. You can actually think like that. And they have all the links at the bottom, tells you all the different data out there. So that's secondary data. Chambers of commerce, so many areas you can find out data that already exists. Now, if you can't find that data out, then you got to go to primary data. This is data you gather yourself. I'll give you an example. Say like McDonald's wants to decide by this time next year, by June 30th next year, we want to have donuts and flavored coffee at all of our stores. We have 15,000 stores in the United States. We want to roll out donuts and flavored coffee. Why? Because we want to dominate the breakfast business. And we already do a good job. We have Egg McMuffin. We have all these different things of bread, nice coffee, things like that. We want to really take market share away from Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. So we want to come out with donuts and flavored coffee, right? So we want to dominate the breakfast business. But what flavors? We don't know what flavor. Should we have chocolate, vanilla, jelly, thing like that? What flavor coffee? Hazelnut? Should we have vanilla? So you have to do primary research. You have to hire a company to go out there and do a market research study for you. And you might have to interview 100,000 people. Don't forget, you have stores in California. You have stores in Washington State, Texas, Chicago. You have stores in Maine. You have stores in Florida, New York, Philadelphia, East Coast, West Coast, thing like that. So you might have to interview 100,000 people. And what is a focus group? It's a narrowly defined group, usually here it says 5 to 8 people. You might even be able to go 6 to 10 people, depending on the moderator. And what you do is you have them sitting around an oval-shaped table, and you go ahead and you talk to them about an idea. So you say to the people, if you were to buy a donut, thing like that, what flavored donut do you think you'd like? So somebody said chocolate, another person. But what would you be willing to pay for 2 donuts and a cup of coffee? Something like that. $1.29, $1.90. So you gather data like that, okay? That's what a focus group is, right? So here is collecting primary data. Here's a young lady interviewing. See, she has a clipboard in her hand, and they call this, by the way, often call it exit interview. She's standing in the parking lot, or she's standing in the street, and people come out of McDonald's, and she stops them in the street, and she says to them, sir or ma'am, may I take a minute of your time? I'm from a JD Power, or I'm from Nielsen Company, and I'm doing a research study for McDonald's. And if you answer, I just have about 10 questions to ask you. If you answer the question, I'm going to give you a $3 coupon for your next visit to McDonald's. Most people say, wow, sure, for $3, sure. And they ask you, how often do you come to McDonald's? Would you think of donuts? Would you be willing to buy a donut at McDonald's? What flavor donut comes to mind? What flavor coffee comes to mind? What would you be willing to pay for a donut? You know, 1 donut and a cup of coffee, or 2 donuts and a cup of McDonald's, thing like that. And then you collect all this data. That's what the young lady is doing, right? So here's analyzing research data. Then you have to drill down and analyze all the answers. So it turns out you interviewed 100,000 people, and 87% of the people said hazelnut coffee. So that's a strong thing like that. You would say, we're definitely going to go with hazelnut coffee, right? We're going to have regular coffee. We're going to have hazelnut. But when it came to flavors of donuts, it was maybe 28% vanilla, 27% chocolate, and 26% jelly. So you didn't have a strong thing like that. So you go ahead and report to McDonald's. There wasn't a strong flavor. So we suggest maybe you try all 3 flavors at the beginning. And if one of them doesn't pull, then you drop one, if you only want to go with 2 flavors, all right? So here's a consumer market. What is a consumer market? All the individuals, pardon me, or households that want goods or services for personal use. There's about 320 million Americans. So these are people, just think of bottled water. Here's bottled water. Here's a glass of bottled water, right? Just think anybody in America, anybody in the world could drink a bottled water, right? You could have a little infant baby, maybe, months old. You give them a little sip of water, a 95-year-old person. And a business-to-business market, by the way, it's an alphanumeric acronym. It's called B2B. B, the number 2, B. This is one business selling to another business, all right? So say like Baruch wants to buy, because of this online teaching, they want to go to Dell, and they're going to buy 100,000, let's say they're going to buy 10,000 laptops, brand new laptops, all right? So Baruch sits down with the people at Dell, and they say, we're going to buy these laptops, and we're going to distribute them to all of our students. Every student is going to sign for a laptop, thing like that, and they're going to be given a laptop, or they're going to be loaned a laptop for the duration of the semester until we're back to full face-to-face classes. So that's Dell, and here's Baruch, and they're selling. That's a business-to-business purchase, okay? Same thing when I mentioned it earlier. Ford needs tires for their car. Ford's going to make 3 million cars. They need 5 tires, 15 million tires. They go to Pirelli. So that's Pirelli selling tires to Ford. That's called B2B. Now, market segmentation, just like any segmentation, the word segment is dividing up. Think of a pizza pie, right? The pizza pie, they cut into slices, right? So dividing the total market into groups of members who have similar characteristics, men versus women, golfers versus tennis players, joggers versus walkers, hunters versus fishermen. Just think of a store like Dick's Sporting Goods. You have all these different things that they carry. I'm just going to look. I'm looking at my watch for a second. I want to make sure I don't go over. All right, we're 21 minutes. We're okay so far. We're 21 minutes into the class. All right. Target marketing is you decide. So Dick's has a department in their goods for fishermen. Say like they have a store where fishing is very, very popular. They have a lot of fishermen there, something like that. Say like they have a store in an area retirement community, you know, down in Florida. A lot of golfers, they have a big golf department. They have sell clubs, they sell tees, they sell golf balls, they sell golf shoes, things like that, all right? So here's the types of segmentation. There's 5: geographic, where a person lives. The big areas is urban. Think of somebody lives in downtown Brooklyn. Suburban, somebody lives in Levittown, Long Island, Short Hills, New Jersey. And just think of rural, somebody lives way out in Utah, something like that, or Wyoming. Wyoming, very, very interesting state. You know, the entire population of Wyoming is about 460,000 people. In the entire state of Wyoming, in Brooklyn alone, here's Wyoming, 460,000 people. Here's Brooklyn, one borough of New York, 2.6 million people live in Brooklyn. So just think, so here you have the entire state of Wyoming, 400, so that's rural, okay? Then you have demographic segmentation, all the different age groups. You have baby boomers, my group. You have Generation X. Then you have you guys, millennials. And some people are calling Generation Z, with your kid, brother, and sister, something like that. And they're even coming up with it, trying to identify even people younger. Psychographic segmentation, what goes on in your head, dividing the market according to your values, personalities, attitudes, interests, opinions. Benefit segmentation, dividing the market, determining what benefits you get out of the product. Easy care, something like that. Think of something like Procter & Gamble that makes, they make Cheer detergent. Cheer is supposed to be specialized for colored clothing. Tide. Then you also have Dreft, D-R-E-F-T, that's for children's clothing. You have all these different things like that, okay? And finally, volume usage, dividing the market into volume of use. You have occasional users, light users, heavy users, all right, medium users, okay? So here is niche marketing is defined as finding a small but profitable niche market, all right? So some people that live in the New York area would want to wear a Yankee hat. Say like I'm a Yankee fan or Mets, I want to buy a baseball hat. I'm going to buy so if you're Modell's, sadly Modell's used to be a very, very prosperous, thriving company. Now they're Chapter 11 bankruptcy, very, very sad. But say like Modell's circa, you know, a few years ago, they decided they're going to carry Yankee hats, Met hats. They're going to carry the Knicks, the Rangers, thing like that. They're going to carry New York sports teams. Now, if you're out in San Diego and you have a store out there, you're going to carry teams for the West Coast California teams, all right? And one-to-one marketing is selling a product directly to one person, all right? So here's consumer decision-making. It's a 5-step process. Problem recognition, you decide I have a problem. Then you value your information search. Say like I need a new car. I'm going to start saying, what dealership should I go to? Where's the Honda dealer? Where's the Toyota dealer? Where's the Subaru dealer? Then I'm going to evaluate alternative. I'm going to go to the dealer, start test driving the cars, all right? Then I'm going to decide I'm going to buy a new Honda Civic or something like that. And finally, post-purchase valuation. I know the summer is ending. We're going to coming into the fall. And sometimes you have inclement weather, fall and winter. But the car I got has all-wheel drive, thing like that. I'm not going to have any problem, okay? So that's it for chapter 13. So let me see if I can go ahead and reduce this. See now, okay. Now I'm going
Professor, you have to stop screen sharing before you move to the next slide because you won't be able to see it.
Say that again now.
You have to stop the share screen
Okay.
and switch to the next slide and then redo it so we can see the new slide.
So then I go back to share screen then, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so here's for, I'll get the hang of this over here. By the way, I'm a great teacher face-to-face in the classroom. Much more entertaining.
The chip on there, Professor.
Over here. Very, can everyone see it?
Yes.
14. All right, so here's developing and pricing goods and services. Let me look at my clock over here because I want to post this. I want to make sure we're able to post it. We're 25 minutes in the class, so we're in really, really good shape, all right? So here is developing and pricing goods and services. What should I pay for a good or a service? What's it going to cost me? If I go into a store like Neiman Marcus, if they're even around after this thing, so many of these companies are bankrupt. We don't even know what retailing is going to look like probably by this time next year. What's today, June 29th? June 29th, a year from now, let's see what retailing landscape. I think certainly, I think a lot of these stores are going to be gone very sadly, all right? Thing like that. Neiman Marcus, they're talking, but they're really shaky. Some of these other, even Gap is not doing that great, all right? A lot of these stores, okay? So so if I go into Saks store, or Neiman Marcus, I'm thinking I'm going to get a luxury brand, Armani, some of the Dolce & Gabbana, and I want to pay, I'm willing to pay a high price. If I go into a store like Macy's, they're good middle tier brands. And if I go into a store like Kohl's, it's a fine store, but you're not going to find fancy brands in Kohl's. Usually you find things like that. So here's your key terms. Everybody see the key terms? Can you see the key terms? Okay. So here is developing value. What is value? Value is actually a definition. It's simply stated good quality at a fair price. So I'm going to get good quality and I'm paying a fair price. Now, if something is not a value, I paid this price, but the quality was not up to par, right? So now the idea over here is for a marketer to try to make this go higher. So here's the price. So you want to give them really good quality, but certainly value is good quality at a fair price. All right, so that's okay. So here is products most consumers won't give up. People refuse to give up their internet. So think of Wi-Fi, cell phone service. How difficult is it to go through life without a cell phone, okay? Premium television. Some people like HBO, some people like Netflix, these different sign-on services, Optimum. Discount apparel, you need clothing, you need jeans, we're coming into the very hot weather now. A lot of you might get a new swimsuit. You want to get a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, thing like that, okay? Haircuts and coloring, all right? Certainly when they shut down a few weeks back, before phase 1, they shut down all the beauticians. We're not allowed to, I think a lot of women were frantic. They could see their roots were starting to show or something like that. So middle-aged women, something like that, all right? My wife and my daughter included, so, okay? Fast food, all right? So basically, some people say, I'll never eat in a fast food, McDonald's, that is it. But let's face it, millions of people eat in these things. So these are products people won't give up. Here's what you can do without. You don't need a luxury handbag. You don't have to have a $13,000 Birkin handbag, all right, ladies, okay? Luxury car, Rolls Royce. If you need a car is going to take it from point A to point B. Now, if you're Michael Bloomberg and you can afford it, you can certainly get a luxury car. You can easily afford a Rolls Royce. Donald Trump can afford a Bentley. But generally, a normal person, something like that, like you're a teacher and you're working in the New York City system, you're making 60, 70, 80 grand a year, you're probably not going to have a Rolls Royce, all right? Satellite radio, Sirius, some people have that piped into their car. Some people say, I don't need it, I got plenty of radio, and maybe I don't even listen to the radio. I have my iPod or something like that. On my phone, I listen to music. Specialty apparel, you don't necessarily have to have premier designer names. High-end cosmetics, Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, and facials, Isabel Bella. So you don't necessarily have to have it. Now, if you can afford it, fine, but you don't have to have it. You can get through life without it, right? So what is a product line? It's a group of products that are physically similar. Coca-Cola has regular Coke. They have Diet Coke. They have Cherry Coke, Lemon Coke, Orange Coke, things like that. All these different things that are all similar. A lot of times they're in the exact same cans, all right? I was in the store. I was in Sam's warehouse club yesterday with my grandson, and we needed soda, and they had it piled floor to ceiling, Diet Coke. And interesting, they only had mostly Coke. They only had like one flavor of Pepsi. So they have a strong relationship, obviously, with the Coca-Cola company, all right? So here's a product mix. This is the combination of the product lines offered by a manufacturer. Product mixes like Procter & Gamble. Think of, they make Crest toothpaste. They have cosmetics. They have diapers, Pampers, things like that. Thing like razor blade, Gillette. A lot of the Gillette products is a division of Procter & Gamble. Ivory soap, Bounty paper towels. They also have many other things like that. They have Charmin toilet paper. Many. They have about 100 products. It's the largest consumer products company in the world, Procter & Gamble. So just think all the array of products. I only mentioned a few in that: Pantene hair care, so many other different things, right? So here is product differentiation. The key word over here is different. What's different about our product versus another product? The creation of real or perceived differences. Marketers use a mix of branding, pricing, advertising, packaging to create differences. So what is different about our product versus competitors, right? Easy use, something like that. So you can just say all of our products are microwavable. So you have a fast food product, the person buys it in the supermarket, they go home at night, they just pop it in a microwave, set it, 2 minutes later, they have a meal, something like that, okay? You can say low sodium. So Campbell's comes out with a soup that low sodium for people with high blood pressure, thing like that. No sugar. Some people have diabetics, have to avoid sugar. So you say this is sugar-free. All these different things. But what is different about our product? Easy pour. By the way, one of the big features of Tide, if you notice, I just bought, when I was in that store, Sam's yesterday, my wife likes Tide, but we buy a very, very large container of it, probably maybe 2 gallons, but it's got a big handle on it. So it's easy pour handle. You lift it up. But even then, you have like a cap on the other end. You can just screw the cap off. And as you tilt, you can just like tilt it over and have like a little thing like that. You can actually just take a little cup of the Tide at one time, and then you put it into your washing machine, and then you're set. So that's different. So you can say the packaging is different, okay? So here's types of goods and services. First, convenience goods are products that consumers want and purchase frequently. Think of candy, a magazine, gasoline for your car, milk, all these different, so they're easy to find. It's not hard for you to find. When this meeting is over today, you leave your house, how far do you have to walk before you buy a can of Coke? So downstairs, Professor, there's a bodega under my building. Across the street, there's a supermarket. Over here, there's a convenience store, anywhere. And so soda, candy, newspapers, things like that. These are convenient. Usually the low price item, very, very little decision making. The first store, if I'm thirsty and I want a bottle of water, the first store I come to, I'm going to buy the bottle of water, something like that. So there's very little decision making. So here's the next one, shopping products. These are a little bit different. These products that require the consumer, they buy only after comparing value, quality, price. I'll give you an example. About 2 years ago, my wife and I needed a new refrigerator. We had a refrigerator that we bought about 20 years ago, and things like that. It worked perfectly for about 18 years, and finally it conked out. The mechanic came, he said, it's time for you to get a new refrigerator. The motor's all burned out of it. So we went to Best Buy. We went to Home Depot. Finally, we went to Sears. The Sears salesman said, so you have to measure. How does it fit into the space? In my kitchen, we have a space. We have a counter, thing like that. What is the color you want? My wife wanted it to match the dishwasher. She wanted to match the oven, right? Thing like that. What features? So we have the double door. So you have 2 doors open. You have the little ice maker on the outside. You can go down and get ice. Thing like that. You press the button and the ice comes out of the thing. So these are the features. So this is what you do comparing. So you have Maytag. You have General Electric. You have Whirlpool. And we wound up getting a Kenmore, which was the Sears brand thing. So television set. If I want to get a new television set, I'm going to look at maybe Consumer Reports and see who got the highest ratings. How did the Sony compare to the Samsung? How did the LG compare to the Panasonic? I'm going to price. Maybe I only want to spend $1,000. So I say, what kind of TV can I get for $1,000, right? So television set, things like that. Now, specialty goods are a little bit different. These are consumer products with a unique, underline the word, unique characteristic, because these products are perceived as having no reasonable substitute. If I want a Lamborghini automobile, I want a Lamborghini. That doesn't mean I want a Porsche. That doesn't mean I want a Maserati. I want a Lamborghini or something like that. Rolex watch or something like that. Say like I want to get a Rolex watch. Only certain exclusive distributors sell Rolex watches. I can't get a Rolex watch in any kind of a store. I have to go to an exclusive Rolex dealer. And by the way, I better bring my checkbook with me or my credit card because it's probably going to cost me $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $20,000, right? Armani clothing. You can't get Armani clothing in just any kind of a store. You can't get it in Kohl's. You can't get it in Target. You have to get it in Prestige or a better department store. Jewelry, Harry Winston. Harry Winston is known for fine diamonds, beautiful thing like that. So maybe a very, very well-to-do person wants to get an engagement ring, or they want to get a bracelet or some kind of a piece of jewelry for a loved one, they go to Harry Winston. And finally, cars, Lamborghini. You could say the same thing about a Tesla, something like that. Tesla would be a very, very, electric car, okay? So here's unsought. This is a very interesting thing. Unsought goods or services are products that consumers are unaware about. You're not thinking about these. It's not a top of the mind. It's not a car towing services, something like that. You don't call a tow company, AAA or something like that, to tow your car until the car breaks down, all right? Burial services. People don't think about death, something like that. Death is usually put in the back of your mind, something like that. So an unsought thing. Some people do, though. So say like you're an elderly person, thing like that, and you have just like one child, something like that. You say, I don't want to have the burden of burying me on my child, or my son, my daughter. So I'm going to go buy a tombstone. I'm going to buy a cemetery plot. I'm going to arrange with the mortician to be cremated upon my death. So you have that all pre-planned. Insurance. By the way, you know what they say about insurance, particularly life insurance? People don't buy life insurance. It's sold to you. What do they mean by that? A lot of times people, again, they don't think about it, but they all of a sudden, the phone will ring and it's an insurance salesman telling you we're having a rally. Please come to a rally because you have several young children, and it's very important for you to have life insurance. Income protection, life insurance. God forbid something happens to you. How is your children going to stay in that house you live? How is your wife going to pay the mortgage? Something like that, right? Thing like that. How are your children going to go to college? So you need several $1 million worth of life insurance. And donating blood. Okay, donating blood is another interesting thing. A lot of times you don't think about donating blood. Most people don't wake up in the morning and say, you're getting out of bed, you're stretching. I think I'm going to donate blood today. What happens is you'll go to Baruch and you'll see a big sign in the lobby. Today we're having a blood drive. We're trying to collect 500 pints of blood. And you say to yourself, I think it's the right thing to do. I don't have any class today until 2 o'clock. I'm going to go down in the gym. I'm going to give a pint of blood. So that's unsought, right? Here's industrial goods. These are products used in the production of other goods. If I'm a printer, guess what? I need a printing press. If I have a pizzeria, I need an oven. These big ovens, they put the pizzas in, they cook the oven. A bulldozer. Say like I'm in the construction company. I own a construction company. I have to move earth, these big rocks or something like that. I need a bulldozer. And also, just think of a limousine service. Say like I run a limousine service, thing like that. I need cars. So these are vehicles that are going to generate income for me and my company. So here's packaging, a very, very interesting part. One of the underappreciated parts of marketing. Packaging attract new buyers' attention. The color, the shape of the package, something like that. I think it protects the goods inside. Just think of how important packaging. Think of a can of soup. A can of soup. As soon as the soup is put in the can, it's hermetically sealed. No air or bacteria can get in that. You can drink a can of soup that's 3 or 4 years old, and it's certainly safe. Or something like that, right? Easy open. Some packages, they have the little strip. You just pull on a strip, and it's easy to open it. It describes the information. You can pick up the package. Say like I have high blood pressure, which I do, and I'm buying soup. I want to look at the soup that has a low sodium. Say like I'm a diabetic. I want to look at a product that has a little or no sugar. Maybe a thing like that. How do I prepare it? I pick up the package of the carton, and they say microwavable. That's easy for preparation. A lot of times it has the instruction. It provides a warranty. It also gives an indication of the price. And also, a lot of times, the packaging will tell you the sell-by date. You don't want to buy milk today when the sell-by date was June 26th. Are you kidding me? That's 3 days ago. That milk is stale. You don't want to buy you don't want to buy bread that's stale. The sell-by date was a few days ago. You want to buy fresh bread, right? So here's brand. What a brand is: a name, a symbol, or design that identifies goods or services from one seller or seller, distinguishes them from the other. Probably, and the trademark is a brand that has exclusive legal protection for both the brand name and the design. And the best example I have of trademark is, we all know the Nike swoosh. You know that check mark? That's a universal. That's recognized all around the world. You can go to a really remote area or something like that, and you're wearing a Nike thing like that with the swoosh on it. People will understand the Nike swoosh. So these brand names are very, very important. Companies protect. golden arches. McDonald's has the golden arches, very, very protected thing. Ralph Lauren for many years had that little polo player. You know, a little polo player that's sewn on his shirt, something like that. That's something that's and that's exclusive to him. If you try to violate that, they will sue you, right? So here's manufacturer's brand versus a store brand. A manufacturer brand, sometimes, by the way, it's called a national brand. You write that down to remember it. A national brand is a brand, names of manufactured distributed product nationally. Levi jeans, Tide detergent, Dove soap, Ralph Lauren clothing. You can say Coach handbag, something like that. Apple phone, Apple smartphones, or something, iPhone, or something like that, okay? Thing like that. So these are manufactured brands. So these are brand only made by they're actually manufactured by the company that bears their name, but also they protect these things, and they never allow anyone ever to use their name, okay? Now here's a store brand. A store brand is a little different. These are products that don't carry the manufacturer name, but carry the distributor. So Gap makes their own jeans. When you go into a Gap store and you look at the label inside the thing, it'll say Gap. You go into the same thing, Old Navy, say Old Navy. You go into Express, it says Express. Ladies, you go into Victoria's Secret, you'll see Victoria's Secret. All of the clothing they wear. You can't walk into Victoria's Secret and say, wear the Playtex bras, wear the Ballet bras. The ladies say, Playtex, but you got to go over to Macy's, you got to go to Kohl's. And same thing, you can't walk into Bloomingdale's and say, where are the Gap jeans? Gap jeans, you got to go to Gap. We're Bloomingdale. We have Ralph Lauren jeans. We have 7 for All Mankind. We have all the brand names. You want that, you got to go to Gap. You got to go to Express. So that's a store brand, all right? So brand loyalty, one of the goals of all marketing is brand loyalty, the degree to which customers are satisfied, like the brand, and they're committed to further purchases. The idea over here is the goal of marketing is to get someone to brand loyal. I love, but take this, maybe, so people are usually, there's 3 constituencies to brand loyalty. Write this down and remember it. Some people love a brand. Some people say, I love Ralph Lauren clothing. Why? Because it fits well, it washes well. I love the little polo player in my pocket over here. I always feel special when I'm wearing it. People see the little polo player, something like that. I just like the way Ralph Lauren. Another person say, I love a particular store, Nordstrom. Every time I'm in a Nordstrom store, I feel special. The people are so helpful there. The store is so nice, so nicely laid out and so neat. I really, really feel special. So I'm loyal, so I'll only shop in Nordstrom. And then some people are loyal to a family of brands, Apple. Some people have an iPod. They have an iPhone. They have the laptop computer, thing like that. They have they shop at Apple store. They use Apple Pay. All the different things like that. The whole family of Apple brands, thing like that. That's the whole family that they're loyal to. So that's a brand loyalty. So the goal of all marketing is to maximize brand loyalty. So by the way, here's new product development. Marketers thrive on new products. New products are the lifeblood of just every new product. But interestingly enough, 7 out of 10 new products fail within the first 5 years. So you should remember that. The fact that you're coming out with a new product is not a guarantee it's going to succeed. But the first step is idea generation. We come up with ideas, then we screen the ideas. We try to see step 2. We try to take the ideas down to, so here we look up for a lot of ideas. Here we try to knock them down, right? Then we do product analysis. We sit down and say, what's this product going to be like? What's this smartphone? What are all the features going to have? We're going to have a great camera. We're going to have I think the next thing they're trying to work, we all know you have FaceTime with the Apple phone thing. We're going to try to work out some new thing like that. I think the next big step in all technology, you all know about Bluetooth. I think they're working on it. I don't know how close they are, but you don't have to recharge them anymore. As soon as you have internet connectivity, your phone is being recharged just because, thing like that. No more with all the wires and plugging it into the wall. I think that's the next thing they're trying to work on, automatic recharge. As soon as your phone is on and you have internet connectivity, it's being recharged. That's what they're working on. I don't know how close they are to perfecting it yet. And then you, including branding prototypes, testing, and then finally commercialization. So if you pass all those tests, the previous 5 things, you roll it out, that's commercialization. So here's what they call a product life cycle. Every product, just like a human being, you're introduced, right? You're conceived, you're born, you go through adolescence, you go through middle age, and older. So here is introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Let me just show you this slide. I'm going to take a few more minutes on this slide because it's an important slide. Notice the line that's blue. See the blue line at the top? That's sales line. That's product sales. Now notice in the introduction line over here, you have no sales. The product is just being introduced. See it? Now it starts rising. Say like you come out, Nabisco comes out with a new cookie or something like that, and everybody starts, they love the cookie. So it goes introduction, then growth. Now see how how steep the curve is rising? It's almost going vertically up, right? It went from, it's almost like a plane taking off. The plane goes down a runway and starts gaining altitude, right? Now notice it peaks. See what says maturity? So it peaks over here. So sales aren't growing, but sometimes they're not declining. Let me be clear about this. Sometimes you have a mature product. Sales aren't growing, but they're also not declining. You should have this clear in your head. Think of Heinz tomato ketchup. Heinz tomato ketchup is a mature brand. People put it on their French fries. They put it on their hamburgers. Some people put ketchup on hot dogs, something like that. I put mustard, but some people. So just think of Heinz tomato ketchup, all right? They're selling millions and millions of bottles of that every day. So, but they're not maybe selling more, but it's not declining or something like that. Hellman's mayonnaise, something like that. Thomas's English muffins. So many of the mature brands, things like that that say sell tens of Diet Coke. Coke and Pepsi sell, I think, 1 billion cans a day of around the world of their beverage. Maybe they're not selling more, but they're not selling. So not everything. Sometimes you have a mature brand that can stay mature for 20, 30 years, right? But generally, most brands eventually start to decline. Now notice profit. You see profit over here? You see this is zero, by the way. In the introduction stage, it's below zero, meaning you're losing money. The company first makes money when it's almost at the midpoint of the introduction line, right? Now notice the profit starts to increase, but here's where it maxes out between the midpoint of growth and maturity. See it over here? That's where profit is maximum, okay? See it over there, okay? And then what happens, it starts to decline because things go on sale. So just think of Apple. Apple comes out with a new phone, thing like that. They introduce it to the stores. It starts selling. It's very, very profitable. It's out in the stores for 6 months, 9 months. But then after a while, they start putting it on sale. So the phone isn't $699 anymore. They make it $599. And then a few months later, it's $499, $300, and then finally it goes over here, right? So these are like the iPhone 1 or 2s and things like that, right? So that's a very interesting thing, all right? So here's EDLP. By the way, this is practiced by most stores like Target and Walmart. It stands for everyday low pricing. An example of what this is, they introduce the product to the selling floor at a price, and they maintain that price. Give you an example. Crest toothpaste. You go into a Walmart, and you have your shopping list, maybe 50 or 60 things on a list, right? So it's a family of 4. You're going in for your weekly shopping, and they call it consumables. Let me tell you what a consumable is. It's something you buy and use up in a short period of time. A can of soup, a loaf of bread, toilet, all the things you buy and use up relatively quickly. It's called consumables, right? So you need toothpaste. So you go over to the aisle with the toothpaste, you pick up the 12-ounce tube of Crest toothpaste, and you see it's $1.62. Say, wow, that's a good price, because I bought it the other day. I was at CVS or I was in Walgreens or Rite Aid. That's $2, $1.62, good price. So you put it in your carriage, right? You come back a week later, you need more toothpaste, $1.62. Oh, wow. You come back a month later, $1.62. You come back 6 months later, $1.62. Maybe a year later, 1 year later, they raise it 1 penny, $1.63. So you say so what they do is they establish prices for their product at a very, very low price that they can still make money at, but they're lower than everybody else. So that's EDLP. And the reason why they make money is you're not going to go into a Walmart and just buy 1 tube of toothpaste. I mean, it's possible. But usually you go in, you have your shopping list, 60, 70 things on there. We need shoes for the kids. We need milk. We need eggs. We need things like that. So you get your list. And when you're checking out, the whole bill is $157, of which Walmart made $45 profits. You know what I'm trying to say? So a third of that profit. So they only made a few pennies on the toothpaste, but they make a few pennies on this, a few pennies on, you add it all together, it adds up to billions of dollars. The company does $500 billion and says, certainly in your lifetime, they'll be the first $1 trillion company. See the T? Walmart, remember this, Walmart will be, in my opinion, the first trillion-dollar sales company ever. You never had a company doing $1 trillion sales, but I think Walmart will be the first, all right? So that's chapter 14. And now let's go to 15. So I have to stop share first, right? Okay, so now let me see. We have 58 participants today. Wow, so far I've lost 120. So let's see. I've lost 62 people already. Wow, oh, God. I guess everybody's starting to dial this thing in over here, huh? Not good. All right, I'm going to make sure some of the comments I make during these videos are going to be on the test. So those of you that are listening and following me, good for you. Those that are not are going to wind up losing points. Watch and see. All right, I'm not tricky, but you have to come to class. All right, come on. Here's the way it works in life. I'm just going to give, now this is Uncle Pat talking to you now. I'm not Professor Pat or anything. I'm Uncle Pat, right? If I hire you and you're supposed to come to work and I'm paying you $1,000 a week, and I hire you, say, Leo, George, come in Monday morning. And you don't come in Monday. And then you don't come in Tuesday. All right? So you come in Wednesday. I say, what happened? Well, I'm sick or something like that. Well, guess what? I'm still got the end of the week. I'm going to give you $1,000 because that's your salary. But you stole $400 from me because 2 days you didn't come in. So you know what I'm trying to say? So you have to understand. And probably on Friday, if I hired you and you missed the first 2 days of work, probably on Friday, I'm going to give you a paycheck. And I'm also going to fire you. So that's the way it works in real life. I'm just giving you an FYI from Uncle Pat, all right? So now let's get back to Professor Pat. We're about 1 hour into this, so I'm going to move along at a pace because I'm going to be able to try to script. Can everybody see it? You see 15? All right, so here we go. Key terms. So here's marketing intermediaries, organizations that assist in moving goods and services from producers to the final consumer. So here's the way merchandise moves through the system, all right? And they're called intermediaries because they're in the middle. Trucking companies, so I'm intermediaries. The companies that assist in the actual financial transaction. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, they're intermediate. UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service, they're all intermediate. They're moving merchandise, right? Okay, so these are all intermediary, right? So here's the distribution warehouse. By the way, Amazon uses things called fulfillment centers. I'll tell you what a fulfillment center is. The merchandise is sitting in this giant building, 1 million square feet, all right? So the order comes in. Whenever you order on something on Amazon, as soon as you hit, you find the item online that you want, watch or something like that. You put your credit card number in or something, and as soon as you hit enter, immediately within a second, an email is shot out to Seattle, Washington. That's their headquarters, right? And then the intelligent computer out there, the smart computer, bounces that email right over to the fulfillment center in North Bergen, New Jersey. Why? Because the item you ordered is available in that fulfillment center, and they're going to fulfill your order. So the person gets the order, they get a printout, they get a little sheet of paper, a little printout, they style. So like I ordered, a couple of years ago, I ordered a Timex watch from Amazon, right? And a couple of days later it came. So the Timex watch came printed out, the person looks at it, and then they assign it to a picker. So the picker goes, so they say, Maria, go over to aisle 37, bin 19 to get the Timex watch. She walks over there, she gets the box, she double checks it, makes sure it's right. She brings it back, she hands it to the shipper. So the shipper double checks it, makes sure that the exact item is there, thing like that, puts it in a carton. They pick a carton that's a perfect size, for the item you bought. They tape it up and they hand it over to the shipping. It either goes on UPS, FedEx, or now Amazon has their own trucks. You see, Amazon has decided, well, why should we pay other people to ship our merchandise? We're smart enough, we're powerful enough, we're going to start our own shipping. So that's what Amazon is doing. You see a lot of more Amazon trucks going around. You're also going to have Amazon, they're hiring people to be professional shippers for them. They'll give you 20 or 30 cartons and they'll pay you for each one. So it's amazing because they're getting so much revenue in from Amazon Prime. The Prime revenue is generating that, all right? So that's a fulfillment center. That's the way that works, okay? So what is channel distribution? Notice there's 3 channels. The shortest channel is channel 1. It's producer to consumer directly. Nobody in the middle. Here's the producer, here's the consumer. There's nobody in the middle. very seldom do you see that too much channel 1 today. I'll give you an example of it. So like I'm a farmer, and I have this big apple orchard, and I have beautiful trees and things like that, and all the apples are coming into perfect bloom, and now I'm starting to harvest my apples. So I have to work, as I say, pick the most juiciest, rosiest apples, thing like that, and hold them aside, because I have a store. So I have a big sign on the highway, farm fresh apples, thing like that, you know, Farmer Tormy's apples, thing like that. So the people drive into my property, and we have a little roadside stand. So that's producer to consumer direct. There's nobody in the middle, something like that. And maybe there's a couple of other examples, but that's the first one that comes on. You don't see too much. Channel 2 is probably one of the biggest. Producer makes the product, they sell it to a retailer, and then the retailer sells it to a consumer. Give you an example. Sony makes high definition televisions, okay? Beautiful television, thing like that. So they sell it to Best Buy. So here's Sony over here. See the producer, Sony. They sell the television to Best Buy. You need a television. You go into Best Buy. You see the television on the wall. The salesperson explains it to you, tells you how and then you go ahead and buy it. So the producer, retailer, consumer. And now the longest channel would be producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. Now notice you have 4 people, right? The producer. So get me back to this Sony example again. Say like Sony says, you know, we don't really have the opportunity to have a sales force with hundreds and hundreds of people in the company. We have people that call on big accounts. We have Best Buy salespeople, where people are calling on Target, Walmart, Costco, things like that. We have 25 salespeople, all professional. We don't have salespeople that call on the small mom and papa stores. We don't have salespeople that call on tertiary stores in Central America, Puerto Rico, South America, things like that, tertiary area, parts of Mexico. So we're going to turn our products over to wholesalers. We're going to let the wholesalers call on these tertiary stores, these small store, thing like that. So they turn the products, they sell the products to the wholesalers. The wholesalers call on the retailers, the small stores, and then they sell it to the consumer, right? So that's what's called a channel of distribution. So here's types of intermediaries that are in the middle, agents or brokers. These are marketing intermediaries. The key over there, bring buyers and sellers together. They make the marriage, but they don't take title. See the word over here? They don't take title to the goods or own the goods. That's the idea over here. I'll give you an example. A real estate agent. When I want to sell my house, I'm not selling my house, but someday if I decide to sell my house, I'm going to call a real estate agent. I'm going to sit down and negotiate a commission fee with them. Then they're going to come with a camera, take pictures of all the rooms of my house. They stand on the front lawn, take the picture of the front lawn, the back lawn, and then they put it on their website. And then a young couple from Brooklyn or Queens or the Bronx or Staten Island want to live in Westchester, they come negotiate with me, and they give me $1 million for my house. Just kidding. It's only $900,000, right? So that's it. So the real estate agent didn't buy the house from me. They just acted as a go-between. So I have to pay them a commission. A wholesaler is a marketing intermediary that sells to other organizations, most often retailers. So go back to the previous slide. You can see that over there. See, this was the wholesaler. Okay? And a retailer is an organization that sells goods directly to the ultimate consumer. Millions of retailers around. Unfortunately, retailing is going through a state of flux right now because of this coronavirus, but also online shopping is hurting a lot. Even companies like Macy's are really, really, really under the gun, right? So let's see if I can get this thing to move again. All right, here we go, okay? So what is utility? Utility is a very interesting term. It's a one satisfying ability or value that organizations add to. You add to goods and services when the products are made. So the idea over here is utility is you're changing the product. If I'm a dairy, I get raw milk in from farmers. I convert it to butter. I convert some of it to cheese, some of it to half and half. I bottle it. I put some of it in these gallons. You ever see a gallon of milk? And then you see a quart, then you see a pint, thing like that. I have different sizes. Then I ship the milk to supermarkets or delis, thing like that, where it's sold. So I'm adding place utility. I'm adding possession utility, all these different things like that. I'll give you another example of place utility. If the baseball season looks like it's going to start, we don't know what's going to look like, but say like last year when we had a normal baseball season, say like I'm out at Citi Field, I'm watching the Mets lose. Because you know they're going to lose, but you don't know by how many runs they're going to lose. I hope there's not any Met fans out there watching or tuning over. You're all angry at me, but the Mets lose, all right? You just go to watch the game because you say, I don't know how many runs they're going to lose by today, but I know they're going to lose. That was a joke, but a couple of you laughed, a couple of you didn't. Anyway, So I want a beer. Say like it's about the 4th or 5th inning. You say, I'm thirsty. I think I like a beer. So the guy that walks around, beer here. This guy, beer here. He comes over and I get a beer. You know what that beer is? $8 or $10. They give you a can of beer, something like that. $8 or $10. If I'm at home and I want to buy 24 cans of beer, I can probably get them for 90 cents each. You go to a store like Costco, BJ's, Sam's, some of these things. So a can of beer itself, probably about, you can get it for certainly $1.90. But when you're in Citi Field or Yankee Stadium, it's a place until the idea, it's $10. $10, all right? That's the story. So what are merchant wholesalers? These are independently owned firms that take title, the goods and services they handle. You have two types, full service wholesalers that perform all of the functions. They'll go ahead and bring the title. So just think of a dairy, going back to that dairy example, they deliver the milk to the supermarket and they just turn it over. Now, when the supermarket gets the milk, the employees of the supermarket take the milk and they pack it out. They go on the shelves and they pack it out and they rotate the old milk around. They put out the cheese. They put out those are the employees of the store. Now, a limited service, full service wholesaler will come to a store. I'll give you an example of that. The Coke and Pepsi and a lot of the bread dealers, the thing like that, not only deliver the product to the store, they go ahead and they pack it out. If ever you get to a supermarket early in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, you'll see the Thomas's English muffin guy there. He has all his money. He rolls the muffins in. He looks at the old stuff that's not sold, something like that. He gives the store credit. He takes it back if it's stale. And then he delivers 144 packs of English muffins. He goes to the store manager, and he has the store manager sign for the receipt. And then he goes ahead and goes to his next stop. Limited service, limited function per firm only selected. That would be the dairy, the example. They deliver the milk to the store, but it's the store's job to get it, put it out on the shelves. Okay, that's the way that works, all right? So here's retailing. United States retailers employ, look, 42 million people. Now that's not only in stores. People who work in the corporate office, advertising, the general managers, people who work at the loading docks, drive the trucks. Walmart has thousands of truck drivers. Why? Because when they have 12,000 stores, they're constantly replenishing their stores. And as I mentioned earlier, very interesting thing, they're having, it's $89,000 starting salary for a truck driver. They're looking for truck driver at Walmart, $89,000 to start. Very, very nice starting salary, right? 3 weeks vacation and full benefits, right? So there's about 3.7 million retailers. Now that number is changing, and I think it's declining. You're seeing a lot of stores closing, and sadly, what closed, certainly, and I think 7,200 retailers closed last year. Your Radio Shack, some of these stores really had no reason for being. Toys R Us, some of these stores are really were very, very weak, and they just couldn't show profit anymore, so they just completely closed up. I think the next one to go, I think Gap is very shady. Sears, the Sears Kmart, thing like that. I don't know what they're hanging on by their fingernail, thing like that. So some people say Neiman Marcus, Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor sadly announced they're closing. They're going to go out of business. So stores are really, so the landscape of retailing has changed. But you're still going to, so if a person doesn't work in a store, it doesn't mean they don't work in a fulfillment center. So you know what I'm trying to say? They're still working for a retailer. Amazon's a retailer, but then the store would be the fulfillment center. That's the new landscape of retailing, right? So here's types of retail stores. You need to know these. There's 10 of them. You have a department store, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, a discount store, Walmart, Target, Dollar General. Now, the difference generally between a department store and a discount store, department stores, for the most part, carry what they call name brand, prominent name brands. I walk into Macy's or Nordstrom, I can get maybe Calvin Klein jeans. Maybe they're $90 a pair or something like that, right? I go into a discount store like Walmart or Target, they're not going to have Calvin Klein jeans, but maybe they'll have Wrangler. Nothing the matter with Wrangler jeans. Nothing the matter with them. As a matter of fact, I wear Wrangler jeans. Nothing the matter with. It's just that they're $18.99. They're not like $90. So usually a lot of department stores are very, very prideful of the brands they carry. Discount stores try to sell a lot of units at a lower price. All right. Supermarkets sell a lot of what they call perishable merchandise. Okay. Just think of all the dairy has high. all of the bread, things like that, all of the fish, things like that. They have a lot of spillage. So they're very, very operate at a very, very low margin. One of the least profitable retailers of all is a supermarket. I'm not saying they don't make profit, but they make it on volume. The reason why Kroger and some of these companies are in business is they do maybe 90 billion in sales. So even though they make very little profit, you take even 1 or 2% of 90 billion and talk about a huge number. That's how they exist, or something like that. Warehouse Club, one of my favorite. Certainly, I was in Sam's yesterday. Certainly, the big one is Costco, and then the third one, of course, is BJ. You have to be a member, so you join. It's a membership club, so they actually call warehouse membership clubs. You have to join. You go and you pay a fee. They give you a credit. They give you a card offered with your picture on it, and you can't check out without that card. You can't even get into the store without that card. You have to show the card to the person. They let you in. And even if you were able to slip by the guy at the door, you can't buy anything because as soon as you get to the cash register to initiate the, to pay for the merchandise, the first thing they ask for is your card. But they do have very low prices. So as a matter of fact, Costco is very prideful. They average markup is 15%, 1-5. Go back to Macy's. See that department store over here? Macy's average markup on like a fashion item at least 50%, 50, and probably more, closer to 60 or 70. Whereas you have a company like Costco, 15%. They try to mark their merchandise up, and that's the reward for being a member, right? But they have usually very big. You can't just buy, if you like Heinz tomato ketchup, you can't just buy one small container of it. You have to buy the giant containers, and there's like 2 of them strapped together, something like that. So you got enough tomato ketchup for 3 months, all right? Convenience stores open very long hours. Sometimes they never close. The big one there is 7-Eleven, right? Category killer, usually tremendous amount of one-type merchandise under the roof. IKEA, furniture, Bass Pro Shops, all kinds of fishing, things like that. Office Depot, Staples. You need a printer cartridge for an old Hewlett Packard printer that you have. Maybe it's 10 years old. You go to Staples or Office Max, chances are they have it, all right? Outlet store. Now, the interesting thing about these retail stores, they're owned and operated by manufacturers. So Ralph Lauren has an outlet store, Coach, Levi, thing like that. So they're outlet store. So there they sell discontinued styles. They sell some of their own products. Sometimes they sell merchandise that's made for the stores. Sometimes they sell something called irregulars. If merchandise isn't of top quality, if there's a flaw in the merchandise, they put it in the outlet store or something like that. Or maybe it's last year's merchandise, discontinued styles, things like that, all right? Specialty store, the interesting thing about a specialty store, it's similar to a category killer, just smaller, Victoria's Secret. You have, all of the, bras, panties, things like that, the women wear, things like that, fragrance. Joseph A. Bank. Some of the guys that are in the class today said, like, you have to go on an interview with Goldman Sachs, Citibank, on these companies. You want to get a suit or a blazer, a shirt, a tie. You go to Joseph A. Bank. You go to Men's Warehouse. You go to Tiffany. If you want a piece of jewelry, you go to Tiffany or something at the specialty store, right? Off-price stores, some of my favorite, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Burlington. These are off-price stores, something like that. What they do is they try to get national brands. So if you look at department stores, see department stores up here. So if you're an off-price store, you try to get as many brands as you can, but you sell it at a discounted price, all right? And finally, superstores are mammoth stores containing a discount store and a supermarket. And who runs them? Usually Target and Walmart. But Walmart is probably the king of superstores. Some of these stores are the size of 5 football fields, several 100,000 square feet. You get your carriage and you navigate around. You get a pair of shoes. You get a pair of jeans. You can get your Crest toothpaste, and then you go down the corridor, and you can get bacon, lettuce, tomatoes. You get your milk, you get your eggs, all your cereals, things like that. So they're all under one roof, right? So here's the supply chain. Notice the channel of distribution is manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. But you add one more link to the supply chain, that would be suppliers. I'll give you an example of that. Ralph Lauren is a manufacturer who makes clothing, but he needs fabric for his clothes. He needs denim for his jeans. He needs, if he's going to wear a shirt. So he gets the fabric from a supplier. He gets thread. He gets zippers, things like that. So these are suppliers planned. So that's the supply chain, all right? That's one that includes the channel. So here's logistics, a very interesting term, the marketing activity that involves planning, implementing, and controlling the physical flow of products from the supplier all the way to the end. And the idea over here on efficient logistics is try to eliminate unnecessary costs in the movement of merchandise. As a matter of fact, the goal is zero. You say, how can we make our jeans in Cambodia, get the fabric from Argentina, get the zippers from Tokyo, get the thread from the guy in Brooklyn? How can we get the thing and bring them to our distribution center at San Francisco Gap, distribute it to our store, and aim to do it and get the least price possible, lowest cost possible. And the goal is to aim for zero. Of course, you can never have zero, but your goal is to aim as low as you can. And the logistics is the big thing, right? So here's what they call mode, M-O-D-E-S, of transportation. How does merchandise move around? Certainly in the United States, trucks, 69%. 7 out of 10 items move by truck. Why? Because we have a tremendous interstate highway system. We have a wonderful, wonderful interstate highway system in the United States over here where merchandise can get on the road. You have roads, you have highways, bridges, tunnels. Trucks can move around anywhere, right? Then you have trains. What moves on train? Coal, petroleum, even automobile, lumber. When they chop down these trees, they put the trees on the thing and they put it on a train and they take it to the paper mill or something like that. So lots of inanimate, heavy merchandise moves on trade, things like that. Pipelines, it's got to be liquid or gaseous. Water, petroleum, natural gas can go through a pipeline, all right? Ships, this is what comes from other parts of the world. So whenever you hear certain stuff, they say our merchandise is made in Asian factories. How does it get from Asian factories, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, China, in the United States? It has to go on the water, so it goes on a ship. These are giant container ships, sometimes several city blocks long, and they load it up with merchandise, and then they go out in the ocean. And finally, air. Something gets flown from point A to point B by air, but very expensive, all right? The size of the cargo hold on an airplane is not that big. And so let me give you an example. So it's under 1%. So there's two variables that have to be on air. Something has to be highly perishable. Flowers, all right? Think of just before Valentine's Day, about 4 or 5 days before Valentine's Day, all the florists are loading up their stores with flowers, long stem roses, kind of, all these beautiful flowers, things like that. Where do they come from? They come from Colombia. They come from South America. They come from where they're beautiful, have beautiful soil and rich sunshine. All of these things are grown perfectly. They're cut down, and they put them in these boxes, and they fly them up to New York, Chicago, all that thing, to Florida, thing. And the other thing, fish. Fish is highly perishable. So you ever walk into a restaurant, and the waiter comes over and says, hold everything. Let me tell you our special today. You're going to love it. We have Alaskan king crab legs. They're delicious, thing like that. So you say to yourself, Alaska king crab? I'm in Brooklyn. What happens is they caught the Alaska crabs. They put them on ice. They fly them all the way from Alaska, the thing, right? And then they sell them at fish market. So the restaurant you're in, they went to the fish market this morning or yesterday and bought the crab legs or the lobsters, and now they're going to sell them to you. So that's going to be, that has to be something highly perishable. It gets flown. But that's why fish is so expensive, right? All right. So that's modes of transportation. Okay. So here you can compare each one of the modes. Okay. You can look at it on your own. So that's it for today. Let me just go back to stop share for a second. And I want to just go back to the main screen over here. So thank you all for attending. And let me just recap. Today we went over 13, 14, and 15. Next time we meet on Wednesday will be 16, 17, and 18. All right? So you're well past, we're just about almost past the 3/4 point mark and thing. And then our last Zoom meeting will be on Monday, July 6th, and that's 19 and 20. So we'll close out the book. We went from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 20. We finished the entire book, all right? We didn't skip any chapters, right? You guys got your money's worth, all right? I didn't call this in. I didn't cut corners. You got all 20 chapters, all right? And then your final exam, you have to take the final exam, 11 o'clock. Many of you, I sent out an email. A lot of you emailed me that you understood believe it or not, about 25 or 30 people never even sent me a responding email that they understand you have to take the final exam at 11 a.m. on July 8th, and I'm not going to restart it. You have to be careful. Don't take the exam on your cell phone, right? Sit down, get a laptop, get a friend's laptop, a neighbor, something like that. If it crashes during the exam, I'm not restarting the exam for you. This is a final exam, okay? It starts at 11 a.m., all right, on July 8th, okay? So that will be, and there's no Zoom meeting. So we have a meeting on July 1st, 16, 17, 18. We finished the book on July 6th, and that's 19 and 20, all right? Thank you all for attending today. I hope you learned a lot. These were 3 great chapters. And if you're a marketing major, you should really kind of pat yourself in the back, because I always was a marketing person. Marketing people bring the revenue into the company. These are the people, the heroes of the company. And accounting is good too. They protect the money when it comes in, their finance and everything like that. So everybody's part of the team, but I always consider the starting pitcher on the Yankees is the marketing guy, all right? Have a great day. Go out to enjoy the sunshine. Stay well. Keep washing your hands. Stay safe. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye now.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Take it easy.
Thank you,
We'll
Professor.
see you all. I'm gonna put this on there on the online as soon as it boots up, so you'll be able to watch it again if you want.
Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day.
Take it easy.